Whoop. Hey, I'm playing with the camera again. Hey, everybody. Welcome. John Aravosis here, Monday, October 28th. Welcome all. We're 8 days away from the U.S. elections. Let me get TikTok rolling here. TikTok's actually pretty good. Yeah, good. TikTok's rolling to go. All right. Wait for you YouTubers to get over the ad. I know, it's annoying. Boom. Mirror my video. All right. Good. TikTok. Hello. There we go. All right. We are ready. Hello, all. How's everybody doing today? Greetings. There we go. TikTokers have arrived. Hello, Paul. I think you're the first TikToker. Oh, boy. Busy. How are we all doing on TikTok and YouTube? Hey, Ashley. Oh, boy. Woo. I guess a busy day for me, as always. I went and mailed. Oh, thank you, Mark Starr, for the gift. Speaking of people who won the auction. Hey, cool. Hey, user 336. Thanks for the gifts, guys. And cool again. Thank you. I'm trying to think. Oh, Annie. If Annie M is out there today, we've got a guy who won one of the auctions who has not paid me, which was not very nice of him, because I told him I was going to the post office today with all the boxes, having to mooch her right off my sister because, of course, I'm not home. And he said, oh, yeah, I'll pay. Didn't pay. It's been a day. I think when you tell you're going to pay somebody, you literally get on your phone and pay. So Annie, if Annie's out there, she was the runner-up, Annie M, on the on that German vase that looks kind of Ukrainian, Russian with the dancers and stuff. She was our runner-up. So I sent her a message on Discord. If anybody sees Annie, mention it. Hey, Richard, exactly. Puerto Rico. We're going to be talking about Puerto Rico tonight. That's for sure. Hey, John, thank you for the gift. Anyway, so what else is going on, guys? Oh, Hurricane Helene damage. That sucks. Gone through. Wow. Pedro, thank you. Oh, there you are, Andy. Yes, Annie. Yes, check your messages on Discord, because the person who was supposed to pay me for the vase, the little German vase that looked Ukrainian Russian, didn't pay. So, and I not wasted, but I had to go to the post office today, had to get a ride, brought all the packages, and realized he didn't pay. So he's not paying anymore. I'm not giving it to him. I'm pissed. So if you still want that, let me know for $35, which was your bid. Otherwise, give it to charity. Talking about the Joe Rogan interview, not really. I honestly didn't watch it, so I'm not sure I can help you with the Joe Rogan interview. Otherwise, well, that's not totally true. I did watch part of it. The Joe Rogan stuff is interesting. Actually, I will. That's not a terrible idea. I'm going to write Joe Rogan down, because the Joe Rogan stuff is a little interesting, actually. I think I'll start with that. I am not early tonight. This is my usual time. U.S. has not changed time yet. Correct. We changed our time. Our clocks go back next weekend in the U.S. Yes, that is the difference. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Courtney. Is it Ashley's birthday today? I forgot about that. Happy birthday, Ashley. Everybody give Ashley a nice happy birthday. Woo-woo. Exactly. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ashley. Happy birthday to you. Of course, we are pro-Ukrainian Roman. Of course. Well, I would say Kanishna, except I don't know if that's just Russian or Ukrainian, because I studied Russian, but I never quite know the words different than Ukrainian. So, but if I say it in Russian, you know what I mean. Anyway, I know. I wish we could stop doing daylight savings time as well. It's the stupidest thing, changing the time. Thank you, Stormy. Thank you, Running, for the gifts. Just the stupidest thing, changing our clocks. It drives me crazy. I mean, maybe when we were farmers it mattered, but now it's just kind of dumb. So anyway, let's get rolling. I see those gifts are coming. Thank you, Life. Those are those funky little team gifts. Keep them coming. We'll see what it unlocks. So welcome, guys. I am John Aravosis. This is my show. We talk about the latest news of the American elections, only 8 days away. We also talk about the war in Ukraine, because that's how my show got started. So let's start with the elections and move on to Ukraine. We are 8 days away, like we said, to the American elections. Very scary stuff. Trump, thank you, Running. Thank you, Jen, for the gifts, by the way. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Again, I do this for free, and I do it full time. This is my job. So if you can help support it, I would appreciate it. Thank you, Jorge, Courtney, and Jen, for gifts. Oh, and a nice Day of the Dead from, who is that? Leah. Thank you, Leah. That was very cool. I always love that one. The Day of the Dead gift is pretty cool, actually. I would say there are other cool TikTok gifts. Thank you, Ethan and Jen. But the Day of the Dead one is sort of particularly wild, I think, in some ways. So, and someone's pulling into our driveway, which is never a good sign. But let's see. So thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Jen. So kind of a a big problem for Trump last night. Very interesting. It's cold enough here. I mean, it's 68. It's not that cold, but I've got a t-shirt on though. So it's like either cold or not cold. So someone's maybe walking in. Okay, seriously, are you? Okay, my crazy nephew decided to arrive in the middle of my show because this is what he does. Hold on, I'll be back. I don't know why he did this, but okay. I'm in the middle of my live. I do everything this time, so I cannot help you for like 45 minutes. So I don't know if that would just don't take anything good. Jesus. All right. Well, that's not good. That's not very good. Anyway, hey Amy, because I'm supposed to like oversee stuff leaving us so we don't just take the wrong things out of the house. So not good. Nope, this is my account, Cynthia. There's lots of fake accounts that TikTok doesn't care about. But there are, but don't know about other, you're subscribing, maybe TikTok's being evil. This is the real account though. So yeah, let's talk about Trump's racist rally last night. So Trump is actually kind of worried about this. His campaign has put out like a number of statements about this, and normally they don't. Normally Trump's like, I don't care if I'm racist, right? You know, he doesn't care. Thank you, T-Bone. Trump held a rally in New York City last night at Madison Square Garden. It harkened back to when Hitler held a similar rally back in the, when was the Hitler one? 1930? When was it exactly? Does anybody remember? I'm not sure what year it was. My guess is it was probably early. Was it 35, 36? It probably was, of course, before the war broke out, I'm guessing. But 39, was it that late? Oh my God, I didn't realize it was that late. Holy cow. Oh, that's really bad. Oh, wow, that's really bad. Yeah, Hitler held this rally at Madison Square Garden, the Convention Center in New York City. And it's a sickening rally because you're literally looking at Madison Square Garden, this iconic American place, and there's like Nazi, signs. It was horrible, absolutely horrifying. Well, Trump decides to hold a rally there last night, and everyone is literally comparing it to the 1930s with Hitler because of all Trump's top officials, many of Trump's top officials, especially his military officials, coming out and saying Trump is a fascist and a danger to our democracy. And Trump decides to open with a comedian, has a comedian up there who's known to be kind of a racist. And what do you know? He becomes kind of a racist on national TV in front of millions of people. The comedian decided, thank you, Vicky, decided to first attack Puerto Ricans. Puerto Rico is part of America. It is an island in the Atlantic Ocean, right near Cuba and Haiti, Dominican Republic, kind of in that area, more or less, right? Bermuda, I think, is a little south of Bermuda. So basically, like right off of Florida, kind of to the east, southeast. And they're Americans. They're also Latinos. And the comedian goes, oh, did you hear there's a really big, there's another large pile of waste, circling in the Atlantic Ocean. Because you know how like we get that crazy pool. I'm just telling you, he's making an allusion to that crazy pool of waste they've got in the Pacific that's like miles long or whatever. That's really huge because the currents bring it all together. And he goes, did you hear we've got this huge pile of garbage in the Atlantic Ocean? It's called Puerto Rico, he says. And the crowd kind of like half laughs, like they're not kind of sure. Really obnoxious. He then goes on, in case that wasn't enough, like to piss off Latinos, he then goes on and starts talking about his black friend, because it's Halloween in a couple days here, right, in America, or worldwide if you celebrate Halloween. And he goes and says, yeah, my black friend and I are going to go carve watermelons, he says. Now, those of you who aren't American may not get the reference. Blacks eating watermelons is a racist stereotype going back forever. People used to do, funny, haha pictures of black people, exaggerated stereotypes, eating a watermelon and put them like on the lawn, just really gross stuff. It is, ask any American, it is an obvious, not just a racial stereotype, it's a horrific, I can't compare, I don't know what to compare it to for something for the international crowd. Just an incredibly racist thing to talk about black people in water. It just is. And he decides to do it. Well, Trump actually got worried about it. The Trump campaign actually distanced themselves from the comedian, which Trump never does. Trump, yeah, go for it. J.D. Vance, however, did defend the comedian. What a surprise. I kind of love how J.D. Vance defended him because it was this sort of interesting mix of I'm trying to I'm like thinking of my nephew being here taking stuff because I'm supposed to be helping him to make sure the stuff gets taken and the wrong stuff doesn't get taken. And now, of course, I can't help because he's here in the middle of my show. So I'm a little annoyed right now. But the JD Vance comes out and gives the following statement. The comedian was what's his last name? Hinchaloper or something like that. He's very well known, apparently. John, somebody knows the name. Somebody knows the name. Just pull it up. So JD Vance says, listen to this. I haven't seen the joke. Maybe it's a stupid racist joke. Now, I want to start here a second here. So Vance admits that, yeah, maybe the joke is stupid and racist. Tony Hitchcliffe is the guy's name. Vance acknowledges maybe it is a stupid racist joke. Rather than saying there's no room for racism in America, here's what he says. Maybe it is a stupid racist joke, as you said. Maybe it's not. I haven't seen it. Of course, I haven't seen it. He's seen it. He was literally briefed on exactly what the joke says. We know this. I haven't seen it. I'm not going to comment on the specifics of the joke, but I think that we have to stop getting so offended at every little thing in the United States of America. I'm so over it. Here's the thing, Miss Queen. I'm so over it. You already admit maybe it's a racist joke. First of all, racist jokes are not, just get over it, right? Second of all, a racist joke at your own political event by one of the speakers is not just, get over it. That's pretty horrific. And the appropriate response is to go, that's really bad. We've not having him again. We've issued an apology and America is better than that. I mean, that's the response. You don't say, maybe it is really a racist joke, but who cares? I mean, that's the response. This is, by the way, the fascist line. This is why people, among other reasons, keep accusing Trump and Vance of fascism, because they are authoritarian. They have different crowds of people they hate. They direct hatred towards different groups of Americans, which we've seen in Europe in the 1930s and other places, similar things. They direct the hatred towards specific groups of Americans, Haitians, Blacks, Latinos, Muslims, women, gays, trans people. Now they're all over trans people now. And it's part of this using the organs of government, at the same time turning the people against specific classes of Americans, as Trump calls them, the enemy within, as he said about Americans. It's bad stuff. I mean, it's fascism. It is fascism. But especially to say, maybe it was a very racist joke that the comedian said at the opening of our show, of our big campaign rally, but just get over it. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm not big on the PC thing. I am big on, if you acknowledge, what I said might have been really, again, if I've said something that wasn't racist, and I've been online with this crap for 30, 40 years now, a good 30 years, actually, I've been online, and not 40, 30 years. And people will sometimes just jump on you. Oh, that's racist. That's sexist. I got used to accused of sexism because I supported Barack Obama over Hillary Clinton. I was sexist, right? You're like, okay, you just grow up. But if you say, that might have actually been really racist, what I just said. If you say that, then the next word out of your mouth is, that's really bad, and I'll apologize, because I would never want to say something really racist. Racism is horrible, right? But if I literally thought what I said might have actually been very racist, you'd apologize. You wouldn't say, you need to, as quote unquote, just get over it. Stop being offended at every little thing. This is who they are. This is who they are. Yeah. Thank you, Adventures, for the gift. Thank you. I was at PG. What else we got here? This was interesting. So CNN noted that Trump is actually doing very well with Latinos, which is kind of scary. Listen to this from CNN. Trump is doing better with Latinos than any Republican presidential candidate since George Bush in 2004, 20 years ago. An average of recent polling data on Hispanic voters, Kamala Harris is ahead of Trump by 13 points with Latinos. That's well off an average of post-election and exit polling data from 2020. Joe Biden carried Hispanic voters by 26 in 2020. Harris is only carrying them by 13. Hillary Clinton carried them by 39 points against Trump in 2016. Now, what's particularly interesting to me there, since Hillary Clinton carried Latinos by 39 points, it's hard to say this is simply sexism among Latinos. You know what I mean? Because they supported Hillary more than anybody. She's a woman. That's very interesting to me. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's very interesting to me. Thank you, Diana. Joe Rogan. We can talk about Joe Rogan. I've only seen part of it. I didn't see sort of the whole interview, but Joe Rogan had, I guess, Trump on his podcast. Thank you, KT. I think it was released on Friday. And what was interesting about it, I mean, two things. One, the part that I listened to or watched or whatever, Rogan seemed to be kind of not quite believing Trump. Now, people tell me that Rogan actually has not endorsed anyone, which was very interesting. Released the podcast, it isn't endorsing anyone. Thank you, Point Broken. Thank you, Renee. Now, I should probably step back and say Joe Rogan is a very famous podcaster. And what's his other claim to fame? Is he like a sports guy or something? I mean, for those of you out there who know him, I don't follow him. But he's very famous, big following among like young men, especially young white men. UFC, that's one of those like extreme fighting, kickboxing kind of things, I'm guessing. MMA, okay. I don't quite know how any of that works, but I think of, it's not the fake wrestling stuff, is it? Isn't it like the kickboxing punching? Is it the fake wrestling stuff? TV Fear Factor? I never watch Fear Factor. I don't know this guy. I don't know what it is. I just know I know of him. He's super famous, but I've never watched Fear Factor now. What is interesting is Rogan is not endorsing Trump. He's not endorsing anybody. Rogan was interviewing Trump. And at one point he's asking him about the election denial stuff. And Trump's like, oh yeah, the election was stolen in 2020. And Rogan goes, well, like, what do you mean? Tell me about it. Oh, they did so many different things that were illegal. And he goes, well, could you tell me some of them? And Trump starts to give this like general answer. And he's trying to he goes like, well, at this one ballot place, they did this. At another one, they did this. He had like 2 or 3 examples in his head. And Rogan goes, which I thought was very interesting. He goes, wow, I mean, why aren't you like going public with your evidence? Like, shouldn't you be filing charges against them or something? Like it was actually a really good comment, which was, if you've got such good stuff, why haven't you done any? Why haven't you gotten these guys prosecuted or something, like, right? If you've got an iron shut case. It was just an interesting little moment of Rogan kind of looking like he wasn't really buying into it. Well, as I said, he's not endorsing anybody, which is fascinating. So anyway. Oh, no, that is true. This is true. Did you know, just mentioned on TikTok, my nephew told me about this. The comedian last night was who told the racist jokes about Puerto Ricans and about black people is part of Joe Rogan's team of comedians. He even moved somewhere, my nephew told me, near Joe Rogan, to be near him, apparently. Yeah. I love that. You're taking that out of context. What? Calling Puerto Rico a pile of garbage and making a joke about black people and watermelons? Tell me what appropriate context there is, Trump supporter, for associating black people and watermelons. Feel free. And then tell me what the appropriate context is for calling Puerto Rico a pile of garbage because, they're all Latino, right? And then tell me what the appropriate context is for saying that Haitians eat cats and dogs, right? I forgot what the Mexicans. And then tell me the appropriate context for talking about an American soldier. Thank you, Jamie, for the gifts. An American soldier who was murdered. Tell me what the appropriate context for calling her an effing Mexican, which Trump did, for demeaning her, saying, oh, she was just Mexican, the woman that was killed. So, right? You guys love to make bullshit excuses. Thank you, KT. You love to make bullshit excuses for your fascism. And that's what sort of intrigues me about JD Vance and Trump, though, because the Republicans overall, they've embraced fascism. They've embraced racism, sexism against women, right? Racism against Muslims, blacks, Latinos, others. But then when you call them on it, they deny it. Like they're actually embarrassed of their own extremism, which is what I find so fascinating. And I guess in a way it's right, because they are extremists, they are racists, they are fascists. But at the same time, they know that there's like that voter in the middle that isn't going to like it if they go, yeah, right, and they admit we're fascists. So they promote fascism, they promote violence, but at the same time, as JD Vance just said today, yeah, maybe that joke was really racist last night about Latinos and blacks, but get over it, right? Get over it. Yeah, Trump tried to overthrow the government violently. Get over it. That's their answer, because they know that the political base of fascism is people who tend to support fascism. They want to hear him trash Latinos. They want to hear him attack blacks. It's sick. It's just very sick. Anyway, let's move on here. New York Times, a rising share of voters across the country now believe that Trump has been just simply exercising his right to contest the 2020 election. In other words, the share of voters is increasing who think that Trump's election denial from last time was justified. Talk about like screwed up. Nearly half of all likely voters, 46%, said Trump was acting within bounds when he tried to overturn the results of the 2020 election. 46% think what Trump did was okay. He tried to violently overturn the election, and he also tried to corruptly overturn the election by stealing votes, literally calling the Secretary of State of Georgia and telling him to steal 11,000 votes, by in Arizona and Georgia also trying to get them to basically just announce fake election results, right? 46% of Americans think that's okay now. This is, by the way, why Trump is doing well in the election. Because, as we've said, yeah, he's a fascist. Guess who votes for fascists? People who like fascism, right? We've always said this with Trump. Think Adventures. It's not a, it's a design. It's a feature. It's not a glitch, right? It's a feature. It's not a glitch, what he's doing. Just very, very, be fair, please. Tasha, I got news for you. He's a fascist. I am being fair. I am being fair. This is the 1930s. Would you sit there and tell Jews, be fair? Why are you complaining about all the little laws they're trying to pass oppressing you people? Why are you complaining about all this shit they're saying about you? All this shit talking about your race and how your race is inferior. Why? Right? I mean, would you do that? No. But this is what you Trumpers do. You're supporting a fascist. And his top officials say he's a fascist. His Secretary of Defense, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, his former White House chief of staff, all the generals, they've all said he's a fascist. And you guys sit there and go, be fair. Well, sometimes you've got to look at history and you've got to call out evil. And it is fair. That is being fair. You know what's not fair? Is newspapers like the Washington Post and the Los Angeles Times sitting on their ass and not picking sides in the presidential election because they're literally afraid of what Donald Trump's going to do to them. So they're literally not, this time, the editorial team will not pick sides, will not announce a choice for president for the first time in God knows how long, because they're literally afraid of what Trump is going to do to them. That is the literal definition of fascism. And you people don't care because, as I told everybody on the show, the fascism isn't a glitch with these people. The fascism is a feature. It's what they want. It's what they like. It's what makes them popular. And I couldn't give a rat's behind about alienating people by calling them extremists. They're extremists. You don't do America any favor. You don't do democracy any favor by failing to call out extremism. You have to call out extremism. You've got to defend democracy. And I mean, again, it's almost a beautiful thing that even the person just said there, oh, you're pushing them against you by calling them extremists. I got news for you. When you try to violently overthrow the government, you're already against me. That's not good. That's a very bad thing to do, right? Violence in democracy is bad. Trying to overthrow elections is bad. Right? Calling black people bad names and calling Latinos bad things, calling Muslims bad things, and banning people from coming to America simply because they're Muslim, what Trump did. Calling a Mexican-American soldier who died, a woman, American citizen, a effing Mexican because she's Mexican-American is sick. It's wrong. And you people need to realize you have endorsed a very bad human being and a very bad American. And we're not going to let you off the hook because you want to be let off the hook. They want to hear that. They want to hear that it's okay. It's not okay what you're doing. It's not okay. But it boggles. But this is how Trump already tried to say it today. J.D. Vance did it today. J.D. Vance goes, oh, look at the Democrats. They're calling half of Americans Nazis for supporting us. And it's what they always do. They always try to embarrass you into not standing up to them. Because if they can scare you, Hillary Clinton called Trump supporters deplorable. Well, guess what? His base is deplorable. I mean, we learned that now. They tried to violently overthrow the government. We know who his base is, right? But what did they do? They turned it around on her. Oh, we're so shocked that you would call us deplorable. How could you do that, right? And they're very good at it. It's very good at it. They're very good at it. And they do. They just turn it around and they try to make it. Now, the far left does this too. The far left loves to do this too. How dare you attack me? And they try to make it like you're just evil because you're attacking me. And it's like, sure, Mary. Okay. But this is how evil survives and spreads, is by convincing you not only by doing evil, but convincing you that you're actually the one who's evil if you stand up to evil, right? That's what's so really bad about it. It's just amazing. Oh, Enemy Within. Thank you, Ray, on YouTube. I didn't even mention Enemy Within, that Trump called Democrats the enemy within. And now he wants to use the military on them. And then J.D. Vance there was a great interview this weekend of J.D. Vance with Jake Tapper on CNN. And Jake was great. Jake wasn't going to let Vance get rid of any bullshit. And Vance is going, he didn't say that about the enemy within. He was talking about violent, violent migrants or whatever should be in jail. And Jake goes, no, he wasn't. He goes, I've got the quote right here. He named them. He said the enemy within should be shown and thrown in jail. And then he named them: Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden. He went through like a list of people, including Nancy Pelosi, who should be thrown in jail by the military. And he goes, what are you talking about? But this is what they do. Everything is state the extremism and then try to spin it. We never said that, right? But you get your base riled up. You go after Latinos. You say that Latinos are a pile of garbage, right? Like Trump did. Or not Trump did, but the comedian did on Trump's thing this weekend. You go after Mexicans like Trump did. This is what they do. You go after Haitians and blacks saying they eat pets. It's all these guys do. It's all these guys do. It's sick. Absolutely sick. Oh, the Trumpers are here today. Hi, Trumpers. Hi, Trumpers. Welcome to the show that's pro-American and pro-democracy and pro-truth, by the way. I do seem to get that occasionally, Ostreicher, with this haircut. Ostreicher goes, I thought it was Anderson Cooper, except that I get angrier than Anderson Cooper. I speak faster than Anderson, too. Anderson's a little too slow. I love Anderson Cooper, but he's like slow-tempered for me. There's a little bit too much calmness and everything with Anderson. I think I would die if I tried to speak this way. No coffee. No, this is just me. I haven't had coffee for hours. But yeah, and I love Anderson, but I could never go that slow. It would be like, oh my God, I'm going to blow. I'm going to loop. My head's going to blow off. Anyway, the White Walker. That's very funny. All right, let's keep going here. This was an interesting story. Listen to this. This was from, the mug. The mug is this is my giant cup of water. It's just water, but I look at the size of this mug. Oh, thank you. Who is that? Randy Fred. Keep the gifts coming, guys. All right, let's keep moving here. A Trump campaign worker, this is from the Daily Beast, a Trump campaign worker has been fired after trying to blow the whistle on what she called grift and greed by top Trump campaign officials and an alleged bugging plot. So, of course, they fired her. Big surprise. Thank you, Aviation, for the gift. And finally, Philadelphia District Attorney has sued Elon Musk and his Trump-supporting America PAC, saying its $1 million giveaway is an unlawful lottery that also runs afoul of state consumer protection laws. Lotteries, I mentioned this to you guys before. Lotteries are really dangerous things to run in the U.S. Every state regulates lotteries differently. I looked into it because people were like, oh, in your Discord, you should do a lottery. I looked into it. Oh, my God. Like, each state is different, very complicated rules. You do not want to run lotteries. Elon ran a lottery. Oh, well. And now he's falling for it. So, yes, we can switch to Ukraine. Am I missing any news about Donald Trump being a fascist that we should maybe talk about first? Because we've got so many Trumpers here today. What else should we talk about? Although they're probably all Chinese and Russian, of course. So, Zdravstvuyte, Trumpers. What else? Anything else on that? Am I missing anything on the election? There isn't actually a lot of oddly, there isn't a lot of election news today, which is very odd. Because you think 8 days before the election, there'd be a ton of it. But not really. Ballot boxes on fire in Seattle. I did see that. Yep. Ballot boxes on fire in Seattle. Kamala being a fascist. Yeah. The problem is that would work, except that she's like as nice as you could be. I mean, is it fascist to want to give kids education? Oh, she's so scary, right? Is it fascist to want to give women control over their own body? Oh, that's almost like Germany, where you're letting women do what they want to with their own health decisions. I mean, this is the problem you MAGA people have. You don't understand that the impact of words is when you actually use them accurately. When you talk about Donald Trump being a fascist, and you talk about the fact that he's talked about being a dictator on day one, when you talk about the fact that Donald Trump has talked about suspending the Constitution, when you talk about the fact that Donald Trump wants to literally kick people out of the country who are Americans, okay, that's fascism. When you talk about the fact that Donald Trump tried to violently overthrow the government, that's fascism. You can't just say she's fascist because she's black or because she's a woman, which tends to be what the MAGA people do. When they say she's a fascist, when they say she's dumb, when they say she laughs too much, what they mean is either she's black or she's a woman. All this stuff about laughing, oh, she laughs too much. What you're saying is she's a woman and you don't like women. Thank you, Colonel Mustard. I mean, that's what it always is with these guys. My favorite is, and actually the whole thing about she's dumb, that was one of my favorites. She's dumb. A, she's obviously not dumb, but B, you're saying it because she's a woman. That's yet another little canard of, oh, women, right? Women are so soft and dumb, they're trying to convince you, right? No, they're not, clearly. And all the way, all over the world, we've had leaders who have been women and have done just great, you know? Anyway. All right, let's move on to Ukraine here, guys. Day 976 of Vladimir Putin's special 3-day military operation. Russia now suffers around 1,200 casualties in Ukraine every day, according to the U.S. National Security Council, which is really bad. A little bit about North Koreans and Ukraine. So, we've been talking about North Korea sending troops to Ukraine. As many as 12 or 13,000 are going. They've sent at least 1,200 special forces they're actually fighting in Russia first, but then we'll be moving over to Ukraine. NATO chief confirms North Korean troops are deployed in Russia's Kursk Oblast. Thank you, Carla, which is the region in Russia that the Ukrainians are occupying part of. Reuters says, this was a weird story, by the way. I'm telling you this story because Reuters was making it like a big deal. And then I read the story and said, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. The first problem here is the Americans officials are not speaking very clearly. The second problem here is this is when you let people write stories without editors. I'm going to read you the paragraph from the story. You try to figure out what this means, okay? The United States will not impose new limits on Ukraine's use of American weapons if North Korea enters the fight, the Pentagon said on Monday. Listen to this. The United States will not impose new limits on Ukraine's use of American weapons if North Korea enters the fight. Oh, okay. It took me a second to figure out what they mean. I see. What they're saying, okay, this is actually not bad. It's still kind of a little screwy statement from the Americans. What they mean is, if the North Koreans enter the fight against Ukraine and North Korean troops are fighting Ukrainians, we're not going to tell the Ukrainians that they can't use our weapons to attack North Koreans. That's what they're saying. The same conditions apply as always. We don't want them using our weapons to strike deep in Russia, blah, blah, blah. But we're not telling them, oh, you can't use our weapons to hit North Koreans. You can only use them to hit Russians. So that's actually not a bad thing, but it's a really weird way of saying it. And also the Reuters piece didn't make clear that that's what it means. It means the administration so far is saying Ukraine does not have to limit its use of weapons to fighting Russians. They can also, if North Koreans are there fighting them, they can use them against North Koreans. Okay, that's good. That's good. Well, Michigan writer, the U.S. should be involved in Ukraine because we believe in democracy and freedom. We believe in standing up to America's enemies. Thank you, Joshua. I do at least. Do you believe in freedom? Do you believe in democracy? Do you believe that maybe we have a role in the world? Do you believe that maybe we should stop threats in the world before they become big problems, for example? Like, should we maybe stop Russia from invading Europe before Russia then goes even farther and we have World War III, which would be a bad thing? Maybe do a little thinking about this. Don't just kind of follow and believe, oh, we shouldn't be in Ukraine because Donald Trump, the sexist, pig, racist traitor, said we shouldn't be there. Maybe think for yourself, because I guarantee you 10 years ago, you were fine with America going and promoting democracy and America defending our allies abroad. You would have been the first. I guarantee you that person would have, assuming he wasn't Russian, would have been the first person out there saying we should use our troops to defend the Europeans. We should use our troops to stop communist dictatorships like the Chinese, like the North Koreans, like the Russians in their own way. Putin is simply an extension of the communist Soviet Union, really. He was a Soviet communist. I mean, he was a KGB colonel. It's not like he suddenly at age 30 or 40, because the Soviet Union disappeared, said, oh, I no longer believe in dictatorship, even though I'm a cog in a dictatorship, right? It's anyway. All right, a little more here. A group of almost 200 ex-North Korean soldiers asked to be deployed in Ukraine to help demoralize and influence the North Korean. In other words, 200 ex-North Koreans who escaped want to go fight in Ukraine to basically help work the propaganda angle against the North Koreans that are there to get them to give up, which I thought was very interesting. North Korea's current arms sales to Russia are estimated at up to $5.5 billion. Financial Times, a little more here, says Trump is planning to end the Russian war in Ukraine by freezing it if he wins. Trump is going back to sort of this crazy plan. Thank you, Ava. Which harkens back to this Minsk agreement. Minsk, I can almost not say that, where basically they would cut Ukraine in two. And then, a little early, but not bad to move stuff out there right now, where they would cut Ukraine in two, not Ukraine, but the divided territories, put troops in the middle, but not American troops, and have demilitarized zones on both sides. And my favorite is autonomous regions. In other words, the Ukrainians are supposed to just give up control over their own land. It's crazy. The biggest problem here is there's no way to stop the Russians from doing it again. They're going to do it all over again. Oh yes, Syndicate. Yep. I guess we should have reminded people that, there is no time change in America until next weekend. Sorry, Syndicate was talking about us disappearing. Thank you, Skipped, for the gift. Yeah, the U.S. changes time next weekend, which is making me wonder, did some of the Europeans change it this weekend? Just kind of curious, and some people are already weighing in and going, wait a minute, what happened? Yeah, our time changes next weekend. Jens gave a subscription away. Thank you, Jens. Very nice of you. Woo-woo. Oh, that was nice to think. Who was that? Annie. Thank you, Annie. Love explosion. Anyway, UK Germany changed. Okay, we had to do things differently because we're American. We're not changing our time with those bastard Europeans. We're changing our time on a different weekend because we're American. We're better. We even change time better than you guys. It's like, okay, whatever. We just had to be different. We voted it out. Some states have. I think Arizona has. Indiana has 2 time zones, which is even crazier. But Arizona got rid of it. I don't know. Has anybody else other than Arizona? I forget. And we don't go metric. Stupid meters. Stupid centimeters. God forbid. Let me see what else I got here. Hang on. Last little story. Croatia is going to provide Ukraine with 30 tanks and 30 infantry fighting vehicles in exchange for German Leopard tanks. So that was kind of cool. So anyway, did Matthias leave? I'm live, but did he? Okay. Because I do want to see if he can grab more of the kitchen. I just want to make sure he doesn't take like the wrong stuff. At least we can live a little bit.
I have pretty much everything in mine picked up. So.
Okay. If you can wait 20 minutes, okay. See, sorry, the nephews we're trying to I leave on Saturdays. We're trying to just get the house emptied out, but within reason, since I've got to live here for 5 days, it'd be nice to have some silverware stay. So I wanted to sort of oversee the other this nephew, make sure that he got the right stuff he wanted, and then oversee the other one to make sure there's still some stuff left. It's like never ending fun here. Anyway, it's okay, but I got to end at 6 exactly tonight. So, or earlier if we're done earlier. Anyway, so yeah, what's going on, guys? So that's the end of the show, so to speak. Annie, like I said, go check Discord for the message. Since if you're interested, you can have the vase for the price you bid. My hair looks nice. Thank you, Cinderella. I know it's growing, but my hair cutter said, let it go down. Because I always put my hair back. He's like, stop pushing your hair back. Your hair wants to go down. I was like, okay. So I'm letting it go down. So bites on the house. Some interest, which is good. Yep. Our realtor reached out to 2 different families that were interested in the house. One was unclear. The other was very interested, which was very nice to hear. So we'll see where that goes. But that was at least good news. And again, if they get there early, maybe they can nail it down. So, hey, Grumpy, since we're just starting with the house stuff, hopefully, I think they realize that. We'll see. The dynamics of selling a house sort of confuse me. I've got my sister's had a lot of experience doing it. We've got our realtor, of course, who has a lot of experience doing it. But, selling a home just, the whole thing has been very stressful. Well, getting the home ready has been, we haven't even been selling it yet. Getting the home ready has been stressful. I will probably let my hair grow out and then cut it again, Timothy. I always let it go. I always let it grow kind of crazy and wavy because I like it. Asking price, I'd rather not say. I don't know. It just feels weird. It feels a little weird. I don't know. You want to buy in the Chicago suburbs? Thank you, Hedge. I can have my realtor talk to you. I am not late, Bouderay. I've been on, but depending where you are, time changed in much of the world, but not America this weekend. It is weird, Syndicate. Yes, Syndicate was asking what it's like because my mom had passed away a few months ago. So my sister and I have been, especially my brother too. My sister and I have been every day doing the estate stuff for over 2 months now. And it's been very stressful, but in ways that I didn't anticipate. Like the most stressful thing to me has been the complicated nature of the estate, of the accounting and the taxes and the law dealing with estates and all this stuff that I thought was supposed to be easy is not easy. And I'm a lawyer. It's just like, ugh. But then also emptying the house is just not fun. Yeah. Because it's the house you grew up in. So you're getting rid of stuff and having to decide okay, nobody wants that. Do we just throw it out? You're like, I did sell my bike. Yes. Somebody actually very nice. This ended up being very nice. We have a trust, which is confusing, but yes, it got us out of probate, but it's confusing as hell. But yeah, somebody bought my bike yesterday, which was very sweet. So, hello, I'm on live. Now my brother's here too. Everyone's here. I'll be done in 15 minutes. All right. Yep. They like that because mom would always crawl by in her walker. So the family gets their walk bys. But no, I have it is a banana bike. Yes, I had a Schwinn bike from 1967. Well, the bike is 1967. I probably got it in 1971 or something. But I was putting it up for sale, and a very nice man from Chicago bought it. He paid my asking price, which was nice of him. He did not haggle. He did not spend an hour telling me how bad my bike was. Oh, hold on. Sasha wants to go in there. All right. Go on. There you go. Sasha, of course, wants to see everybody who's here. Just very nice guy, like a really nice, thoughtful guy. He collects. He's got like 2 or 3 of them already. Wanted the because he was born that year. Wanted the other one. He wants to fix it up and ride it with the door exactly. He wanted to ride it with his grandkids. I mean, and he even choked up at one point. He was like, "I want to say this. If you don't want to sell, it's okay. I don't want you to give up this bike you grew up with." And he started choking up. He goes, and if you change your mind later, I'll bring it back. I mean, it was the cutest. It was actually very sweet. Paid me in cash. So it was a totally real deal. It was very nice. Yeah. I mean, like a little part of me was like, yeah, it'd be fun to fix up the bike, but what am I going to do with a kid's bike? I mean, I could ride it, but it's a little weird. It's still a little bit of a kid's bike. I don't have any kids. So it was Facebook Marketplace. Everyone else drove me crazy on Facebook Marketplace, but this guy was great. I had one woman who decided just to message me and go, the guard on the chain is a different color than the bike. It's not. And I wrote her back and I said, yeah, well, take it up with Schwinn because it's the original. Like I got the bike as the original bike. But like literally messaging you out of the blue just to say that. And it was like, lady, or the guy who came to the house and decided to spend 45 minutes telling me all the problems with the bike. And I was just like, go away. Wanted me to come down $100. He wouldn't come up $25 though. I was willing to come down $75, still wouldn't come up $25. And at that point I was so pissed off. I was nice about it. I was so pissed off. I said, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, you can go. And then he wrote me this morning about it because now he wants to buy my brother's bike. And I told him, I said, I already told my brother not to sell to you. I said, you were rude. You said it for an hour and wasted my time nesting. And then you wanted me to come down and I did, and you wouldn't give me $25. So I said, just come up $25 on your offer price. Wouldn't do it. And I'm like, you know what? I see. The thing is, I hate this side of business. Like it always drove me nuts on Facebook and stuff. Like we're literally talking $650 for a bike. I lower it to $575. And all the experts told me the bike is worth $600. I mean, I already checked it out. They said the bike's worth $600 to $800. It just is. There's no question. They said $550 is a steal. Like if you want to just literally get rid of it in 10 minutes, the guy wanted $550. I said, how about $575? At that point, I'd gone too low. No, he wasn't going to budge $25 when I went down $75. And I was like, in my head, I was like, fuck you. So he reached out again today and I was like, yeah, you're not getting my brother's bike either. I already told him you were rude. Said next time, have a little, you wanted to take my childhood bike and you spend an hour dissing it and then not even giving me $25 when you wanted me to lose $100. So Mr. Antique Dealer didn't get the antique he wanted. I hate that shit. I hate that kind of stuff. People enjoy those negotiations. I hate them. I think because I'm American too. Like there's definitely, maybe Europeans too, but there's like a part of our culture that doesn't like haggling. I don't enjoy like that kind of barter. I don't like that kind of back. 25, like get $25. If you're going to get weird with me over $25, go away. I got the price I wanted. The guy was lovely. Like I said, this nice guy, he wanted a picture of me with the bike and him. He's going to send me a picture of the bike, when it's cleaned up, wants it so he can go ride with his family. I mean, it was just, like I said, lovely guy. It was perfect. But I was, because I'm nervous because you're meeting people online. I'm like, some guy's coming to my house from Facebook. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of scary. Is he going to grab my bike and run? It's just a little weird, Am I nervous in DC? Oh, yeah. Oh, we've got a MAGA. Actually, this person is probably a Republican. Let's talk again. So thank you for bringing it up again. So the MAGA person came and said liberals are so sensitive. What he's talking about is, and this is great because I can now make sure some of our Latino followers know this. Donald Trump's big rally in New York City this weekend made a big issue of the fact that they think Puerto Ricans are garbage. Yeah. They had a comedian come on and as you saw, this Trumper right here is defending it, laughing about it today, laughing about the fact that Puerto Ricans were called garbage. They made a joke. This comedian said, oh, did you hear there's this big, garbage, what did they call it? What did he call it exactly? I'm forgetting the exact terminology. This big like pile of garbage in the Atlantic, floating pile of garbage. It's called Puerto Rico, he says. And the audience is like, hey. Puerto Ricans were obviously not very happy being called a pile of, hot garbage. He then went on and told a racist joke about black people and said, I got black friends. We're going to, because it's Halloween in America, worldwide. In America, at least, we carve pumpkins. Pumpkins are kind of gourd. They're orange. And we carve them at Halloween with scary faces. And he goes, I've got a black friend. We're gonna carve watermelons. Watermelons are a super racist. Thank you, Deep Blue. A super racist stereotype about black people. It goes back generations. It's hard for me to explain to you if you're not American, how horrifically racist. I don't want to give examples. I don't know what it would be abroad, but I also don't want to give them because we don't want to share racism. Horrifically racist to joke about black people and watermelons. And what they would do is they would make like statues with black people that were super black with huge lips, eating a watermelon, smiling. I mean, it was disgusting. The stereotype was disgusting. Again, you have to kind of know it to appreciate how bad it is. That's what this guy thought would be funny to say. Black people weren't carving pumpkins, they were carving watermelons. And because he thought, and again, this guy coming right now, the Trump supporter, thinks it's funny. The big response from JD Vance, Trump's VP, is get over it. And Vance even said, maybe it's racist. Yeah, it might be racist. It might be really racist, joke, but get over it. Well, this is the problem. Trump supporters think that racism is a joke because I guess they've never experienced it, probably, right? I mean, if you've been on the receiving end, it's probably not very funny, I would think, of a thing. And honestly, normal people don't make jokes like that. A normal person doesn't say you're being too sensitive. It's not really funny. Why is Puerto Rico a pile of stinking garbage? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, why would that it doesn't even make sense as a joke. Thank you, NJ Patman, right? Jokes that are funny are based somewhat in truth. I've been to Puerto Rico. It's a lovely place. Puerto Ricans, lovely people. I speak Spanish. I admit it took 3 days to understand a word they were saying. And then after 3 days, I understood everything. And then I had a riot. Then I would take, taxis around, and every taxi driver, I'd ask him about the music there. One taxi driver stayed for like 15 minutes. Thank you, Stormy. After he dropped me at my hotel, playing me music in his taxi to introduce me to all the different, because I told him I'm really liking the salsa and all this kind of stuff in Puerto Rico. And I mentioned a couple names. I don't know if like Rey Ruiz was Puerto Rican. There were like two Puerto Rican singers that were big back then in the 1990s. Thank you, Roaming. Two guys. And I mentioned them, and he was so excited. He's like, oh, my God, you know them? So he spent 15 minutes playing me music on his radio, and he kept putting different songs in different songs. It was the best thing. Puerto Rico, lovely people, lovely place. And by the way, they're Americans. And that's the other thing of what he was doing. He was playing into this notion of Puerto Ricans being not just garbage, but that they're not really Americans. We make fun of them because they're not us, right? That's what he was doing. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Any case, yeah. So every time you see a Trump supporter laughing about racism, you just remember that. Jill Stein, yeah. If you want a Russian puppet, vote for Jill Stein. Are you insane? Oh, Jill Stein's horrific. We've talked about her before. The American Green Party is not the Green Party of Europe. They're pretty much just Russian puppets. They're horrific. Oh my God. They're crazy people. They're not like far left. They're just crazy people. Thank you, Randy. Too bad, like I said before, too bad the Green Party isn't the Green Party of America. Of Europe, where they're actually just not just today. The Green Party is bigger in Europe, but they started off as like an environmental party. Would be great. Today is Monday, October 28th. Ryan, are you? I see what you're saying. Back with the comments. I thought you were asking what day is it? Literally, I'm like, Ryan, are you okay? Now that's a good question. I know there's a ton of Puerto Ricans in New York. I don't know where else they are. I think there are Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania. I remember talking to a Puerto Rican like Uber driver I had in Pennsylvania telling me there were a good number in Philly. And I was surprised because, we know them in New York. That's a huge, sort of the big population on the continental U.S. Do I think Harris will win? It's a tie. And I don't know. I really don't. It's very scary. Trump could do better than the polls, but she could do better than the polls because of abortion. Women are so freaked out, men too, at the fact that the Republicans got Roe v. Wade repealed, which was the constitutional protection for a right to abortion, is gone. 20 states have basically banned abortions now, 20 of 50 states. They want to ban in vitro fertilization now. They want to ban contraception. It's crazy. So yeah. There was funny, actually, I should say, I let's see if TikTok lets me get away with this, but there was the Supreme Court decision on sodomy laws back. I'm forgetting now when the hell that was. Could it have been 2003? I'm forgetting when it was. The Supreme Court, 2006. Gunther, Bowers v. Hardwick, not Bowers v. Hardwick, overturning it. And the Chief Justice Scalia, who's a big, beloved right winger on the Supreme Court, he's gone now, but a Republican, and he was talking. This was basically overturning a Supreme Court decision that upheld, the Supreme Court had said back in like 1986 or something like that, that it's okay for states to basically ban gay sex, but meaning in the privacy of your own home. The police raided a home. They found a gay couple inside having sex because they literally barged into their bedroom, and they arrested them for being gay and having sex. That was literally the case back in the 1980s. Well, the case comes before the Supreme Court. Gone through, I'm asking if he's around early maybe 2003. If anybody knows when Barr v. Hardwick was overthrown, 2003. Thank you. Lawrence v. Texas. Thank you. 2003 was finally when the Supreme Court said, you can't do that. You can't pass laws saying gay people can't have sex. Like, that's not allowed. Justice Scalia, who is the darling of the MAGA right and the far right in America and the right wing, writes he's very upset that the Supreme Court has decided that you can't throw gay people in jail for gay couples having sex in their home, right? Literally, the case was having sex in your home with another adult and then throw you in jail. So Scalia, the Republican who the Republicans love, he writes a dissenting opinion, an opinion saying the court is wrong. You should be able to throw gay people in jail. And his opinion includes the fact, not just abortion and everything else, right? His opinion includes the fact that states, in addition to sex between consenting adults in their own bedrooms, states should be allowed to regulate masturbation. I kid you not. It's this one. This is where Democrats, I think, do themselves a disservice. They don't talk about issues like Republicans do. Go Google Justice Scalia's dissent in Lawrence v. Texas, and you will find the paragraph of Scalia literally talking about how awful this is, because this case means now states won't be able to regulate lots of different things, including masturbation. I kid you freaking not. It is the craziest. This is only 20 years ago. It's the craziest thing. Craziest thing. But this is who we're dealing with, guys. This is who we're dealing with. So Texas limits the number of toys adults can own. You're kidding. You're kidding. They do not. Do they really? Oh, that's hilarious. Lindsey Graham better stay out of Texas. Wow. Our Supreme Court is biased. Yeah. Rudy Patootie says, your Supreme Court seems biased to me as a German. It's because it is. It's because it is. Anyway. What else, guys? I'm going to hang up in a second. Like I said, my nephews are here, so I'm trying to help them just go through the kitchen to make sure our entire kitchen doesn't disappear before I leave on Saturday. Most of the kitchen we want to disappear. We don't want all of it to disappear, so I can continue to at least make some meals for the next 5 days. So, 2008 court case decided you cannot have more than 6 sex toys. You can have more if you're selling them, but you'll need a permit. That law is actually still enforceable. You cannot have more than 6 sex toys? Oh, that is hilarious. Thank you, Jedi. That is freaking hilarious. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I love that. They've got a law limiting the number of sex toys you can own in Texas. God. Amazing. Yep. And I guarantee you, it's the Republicans who did that, not the Democrats. Guarantee you. All right, guys, I'm going to get going because, like I said, I've got sort of the family here. We're going through the house, getting rid of stuff, so I've got to oversee it a little bit. But I will be back tomorrow. Obviously, this is a big week with the election, 8 days away. We'll talk again tomorrow about Ukraine. We'll definitely be talking about the election this week. I'm back in D.C. on Saturday. So after that, we will also I'll start doing my private shows in the morning as well, on so like a couple days before the election, etc. So thanks for joining, guys. Thank you for your gifts. Thank you, mods. And I will see you all tomorrow, okay? All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you. Yep. And say happy birthday to Ashley.